Chapter 9, Creating and Maintaining High-Performance Organizations. Learning objectives. Define high-performance work systems and identify the elements of such system. Summarize the outcomes of a high-performance work system. Describe the conditions that create a high-performance work system. Explain how human resource management can contribute to high performance. Discuss the role of human resource management technology in high-performance work systems. Summarize ways to measure the effectiveness of human resource management. So when we look at high-performance work systems, you make full use of resources and opportunities to achieve organizational goals. Each element of the system must fit well with others in a smoothly functioning whole, results in increasing productivity and long-term financial success. So in a high-performance work system, all elements, people, technology, organizational structure work together for success. So when you talk about a work system, you're not thinking in terms, a lot of times you think system, you think in terms of computers, whatever else. No, this is taking into consideration a lot of things to include people. You know, do you have the right people? Do you have the right people in the right places? The type of technology you're using. Are you using technology that actually enables you to do the things that you need to do for today and into tomorrow? Organizational structure. Organizational structure is how are you set up? Do you have the right structure in place? Now, I'll give you an example. If you have a manager and this manager has somebody working in his area that's working with him, but they report to somebody else. You see, that right there will be something that's not really something you want to view and say, okay, this is a work system that looks really good. Just that one example right there. This person works in my department, but he doesn't answer to me. He answers to somebody else. And is the person working in my department doing things? Do I have somebody working in my department doing things that they shouldn't be doing? Basically, is there somebody in my department doing something that they should be in another department? So in order to have a good working system, you got to get all these things working together. So you want to make full use of the resources. So elements of a high performance work system. So when we look at the elements right here, we think in terms of, look at the organizational structure, task design, organizational structure, how they set up, task design. Do you have people who actually, do you have the task designed up that they work in the most efficient manner? Or do you have wasted motion? Of course, you have your performance. So you see, people selection, training, development. Are you hiring the right type of people? Are you giving them the right type of training? Are you developing them for the future? Reward system. How do you reward your people? Some people, there are some managers and some organizations feel like, well, we don't reward people. We just punish people when they don't do the right thing. Totally backwards. Reward people who do good things or whatever else. What do you have in place? How do you inspire and motivate people to want to do the right thing? And, you know, find out what their motivation is. And so for some people that can be financial, that can be other accolades, attaboys, public acknowledgement, multiple ways. Of course, you have your organizational goals right there. In your information systems. What type of information systems are you using? Are you using information systems with the most up-to-date technology? Are you using the ones that works best for the type of operation that you have? So elements of a high-performance work system. So organizational structure, the way organizational groups people into divisions, departments, and reporting relationships. You know, I kind of talked about that. That's how are you structured? Are you set up in a manner that actually is conducive to do what you need to do or do it in the best way? Your tasks. How are the tasks designed? I mean, do you have the right type of jobs grouped together? I mean, give you an example. If you're a manager and you have someone from accounting working for you, someone in HR working for you, someone in marketing working for you, and somebody in the tech working for you, look at that right there. Surely you have departments where these people should be reporting to. That is not how you want to have your people set up to work in different areas. So you have your tasks, but you have your team set up, but then you have to pick your people. And do you have the people that's suited to do the kind of jobs you need them to do? And if you do hire the right type of people, then you prepare them and stuff. Reward system, encourage people to strive for goals. You know, people are human beings, they're not robots. How do you inspire and motivate folks? What incentives do you have for these people to want to do the right thing? Information systems enable shared information widely. Or do you have an information system in place such that if you got 5 different departments that need to access something, can all 5 of them get access to it? Or do one department have access to the information and all the other 4 got to reach out to that one department to get it when they need it? That wouldn't be a viable information system. Polling question. So, which element of a high-performance work system do you feel is the most important? Organizational structure, task design, people, reward system, information systems. And again, depending upon who you are, will determine how you answer that question. High-performance work systems. So outcomes of a high-performance work system, you look at high productivity and efficiency. So when you have that, you will have a higher productivity and efficiency. Not only will they be inclined to get more done, but they'll probably be able to do it in a more timely manner. Higher profits. And this is the reason you come up with this whole high-performance work system, is to be better at what you do. Obviously, you want higher profits. Well, you can get that with a high-performance work system. High product quality. That is something else. If you have people who are doing this type and the system's working well, you will have products that will be produced at a high level. Great, and this is one of the things I think is really important. Great customer satisfaction. In a high performance work system, you're going to have, these people will always have great customer satisfaction. Why? Because they're going to have the right people in place to do that. I'll give you an example. You wouldn't have your engineers who are focused on numbers and text and specs out there dealing with customers over the phone. I mean, if you are, you're asking for trouble. And you might say, well, you know what, I can save money if I just have my engineer design the stuff, and then I can also have him get on the phone and sell it. It don't work that way. You got to have somebody who has a sales acumen and somebody who's got people-oriented skills to do this. And these high-performance systems will. Low employee turnover. When you have a high-performance system and you have people who are working in place and you have a well-oiled machine, you have happy employees. A happy employee is a productive employee. Happy employees are not looking to leave to go somewhere else. So, outcomes of a high-performance work system. So when we look at it, interesting jobs, satisfied workers, low absenteeism. This is just people stuff right here. We're talking about. That's just the people side of it. Now you can get into some other things that leads to low turnover. That's still the people stuff. But look where you start getting to what that goes over to right here. Lower cost. By virtue of you handling the people stuff, it's going to handle your lower costs in. Now, the lower cost, what does that lead to? Higher profits. So you look at the high quality customer satisfaction and higher sales, and you see higher profits right there. You see knowledge sharing, being able to access information. Remember I referred to if you have 5 departments, but only one can get access to the information that others could not. Well, here's where you have knowledge share. Everybody should be able to access the information they need to do their jobs. And you at least a higher innovation, higher quality. There's your customer satisfaction, there's your higher sales, higher profits again. And share knowledge, greater productivity. Again, if you have 5 groups and only one has access to the information and doesn't share their knowledge, the other 4 groups has to go to that group, you don't have greater productivity because that slows things down. Characteristics of a high performance team. So teams perform work. So when you look at this, they perform work. They perform specific types of work. It's like you have teams. They have all different duties. Think of a puzzle. If you think of a puzzle, a piece, you take and how you fill that puzzle up is you put a piece in at a time. Well, let that be in your high performance system. Think of a team as a piece of the puzzle. When you start putting them all together, that's how it works. Management employees demonstrate commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, incentives. So again, DEI has been politicized so much that people have kind of lost sight of kind of what it can mean. And what it can mean is you have people in there who have the right skill sets, who have the right type of education, who have the right type of experience and stuff, and they may vary You didn't hire all the same kind of people. You hired different people for various reasons because they all bring something to the table to help you do the things you need to do. And look, give you an example. You may find out that you're actually working really close with another team member, but that team member is in India. Do you have anybody in your team that can speak Indian? They may have some folks that can speak English, but there's anybody in your team that can speak Indian to talk to them directly. Employees participate in the selection process. So when you have selection process, what you have sometimes is when you think about hiring folks and bringing people in, sometimes you have some situations where they'll say, you know what, we're going to do a panel interview. And I'm going to have my team members, employees involved in this interviewing process so we can make sure we select the right type of person for the team. Employees receive ongoing formal performance feedback and are actively involved in the performance improvement process. Here's one of the things I can tell you when it comes to someone who used to do evaluations for many years as a manager and a leader of the United States Army. You have to have performance appraisals, evaluations, and you have to give realistic feedback. And this has to be systematic. And whether it's quarterly, biannually, annually, whatever else, you have to do those. And they have to be valid, and this is one of the ways you help people grow. And you use them as for documenting, for positive reinforcement, encouraging people or building people up, not tearing people down. Ongoing training is emphasized and reward. You could these types of systems, high performance systems, encourage people to develop not only as teams but as individuals. And you always encourage that. And what I like to see is I'd rather see putting training out there and let people volunteer for it because they want to do better. And then some training you will have to require everybody goes to because it's mandatory. The ones who really want to try to better themselves and move up, they're going to always be looking for training. Then you have to make sure as an organization that you're making sure it's being offered. Employees' reward and compensation relate to the company's financial performance. So when you look at if the company's doing good and it's making profits and is paying the stockholders and investors, then the employees should be benefiting as well. If they are, bottom line is if everybody's winning and getting fat because things are really good, that's a good thing. In a high performance system, you will find that it's not just the company and the stockholders and investors doing well, but the employees are too, financially. Equipment and work processes are structured and technologies used to encourage maximum flexibility interacting among employees. So you're going to have the most up-to-date equipment, and you're going to make sure that you have flexibility design within this equipment, but also within your operation. And I'll give you an example of flexibility. If Billy calls in sick, who can actually do his job? Well, if you cross-train your people properly, you have flexibility, you can have Sally fit back up him that day. Because she doesn't know his job as good as he does, but she knows it well enough to be able to do it that day. Employees participate in planning changes in equipment, layout, and work methods. One of the reasons you want to have employees do this is that if they're involved in the process of planning and layout and work methods and stuff, here's what you find. If they're giving input, they're less likely to actually fight the system or resist the system or the change. Employees understand how their jobs contribute to the finished product or service. Not only do, I'll give you an example. If you had an employee and I went to him and asked your employee, what are you doing and why are you doing it? What are you doing, why are you doing it? And they can tell me, well, this is what I do. And this right here. Do you understand why you're doing it? No. And this is what they're addressing. They know what they're doing. They know why they're doing it. They know how it ties into the finished product. And that way, they can take it from start to finish. They can take it from their start to finish. But if it's passed over to somebody else, they also understand the process in which it goes through to it's completely finished. Ethical behavior is encouraged. You got to have that. And that's a culture, and that starts at the top, not at the bottom. And that's management. That's the leaders that sets the tone for that. If you set the tone for an ethical type operation, you'll have it. If you set the tone for a dishonest or a less than ethical type behavior, you will have that too. But that is always going to fall back on the leader of the team. So, conditions that contribute to the high performance. So, teamwork and empowerment. Designing work is so it is performed by Team empowers employees and concentrates to high performance. Managers coordinate roles and provide resources. So it's important for companies to capture and share the knowledge of workers who have had years experience to learn their specialty. So good in these high performance operations, management will never go out there and arbitrarily just say, I'm going to make a change and implement it and then send it to the team. We'll never do that. Why? Because a good manager in these high performance teams understand is, I'm a manager. Even if I have a lot of years experience, my 10 people that work for me, they have experience too. Would I like to use that to help me make a good decision? Absolutely. A good manager would do that. A bad manager will be like, well, I'm the manager and I'm the one that makes the decisions and you all do what I say. High performance teams do not have that issues, and managers are very good at that in those type of operations, coordinating the roles and providing resources. And I give you an example in these type of operations, and people that know what they're doing. Managers don't go to the team or to the employees and tell them, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what they do most likely. They go to the team with employees and ask them, hey, what do you need from me? And then they tell the manager, and then he or she makes sure they get that resource. Knowledge sharing. A learning organization supports lifelong learning by enabling employees to acquire and share knowledge. It encourages and continuous learning. Knowledge is shared among employees. Critical and systematic thinking is widespread. Has a culture in which learning is rewarded, and managers encourage flexibility and experimentation. Employees are valued. So when you have this, knowledge is power. But when I say knowledge is power, it's not talking about individual knowledge. It is talking about team knowledge and group knowledge. Individual is value, but most importantly is that of the team. Everybody has value and everybody can bring something to the table. You encourage people to continue to grow as individuals so you can grow as a team. There's an old saying, and you've probably heard this before, a chain is only strong as its weakest link. Well, if that's the case, then make sure your weakest link is strong too. So realistically, my weak link is very strong. So everybody's been getting knowledge and making sure that everybody has an opportunity and knows that you are encouraging them to go and grow. Job satisfaction, employee engagement. Employee engagement. Degree to which employees are fully involved in work and the strength of commitment of the company. Employees' job satisfaction and job performance are related. So when you look at job performance and job satisfaction, show me somebody who hates their job and is really performing at a high level for an extended period of time. Show me somebody who loves their job and is doing it at a high level of stuff. And they can sustain it for a period of time because they're involved and they're tied to it. They're vested. They enjoy it, they're vested, and they're working in a good environment. Brand alignment, ensuring that HR policies, practices, and programs support are congruent with the brand. Passionate workers are fully engaged. Company becomes part of their sense of who they are. Occupational intimacy. HR has significant roles in creating these conditions. So when you're looking at this, ensuring that you have policies and practice that support what the brand is, what the company is, what you're trying to do, and making sure you have passionate workers. They're fully engaged, and they feel part of the company, and what you'll find a lot of times is they don't feel like it's the company and us. You have the company, they have us, they feel like we. Ethical systems include written codes of ethics, reinforcement of ethical behavior, performance measures including ethical standards, channels for employees to seek help, training and ethical decision making. When you think about this is one of the things I say is mandatory training for folks. It's not optional. When people come in, you have ongoing ethical training. You reinforce that ethical training as a manager, as HR, when you talk to people. Performance measures has ethical standards. Basically, if I've got 5 people working hard, then we have performance measures in place to show that all 5 people are working hard. Or does it show, you have something in place that it really doesn't show who's working hard, and it doesn't show the results or whatever else, but it's not something that you can say, okay, well, I want to promote the person who's done the best work. Well, your system's not in place to actually show you that. You don't want to have that. High performance systems don't. Polling question. Cameron has worked for the same company for 3 years and enthusiastic and passionate about his work. He has not missed a day in 2 years and has several close friends he enjoys working with. Which statement best describes Cameron? Look at your answers right there. And the answer is D. He is experiencing occupational intimacy. Job design enables organizations to benefit from teamwork and employee empowerment, recruitment. So when you're looking at the job design, this is where you want to say, talk to your people. And I'm gonna tell you what you would do. You want to talk to people who do the job. You want to talk to instructional designers. You want to talk to the manager wants to talk to folks. And when you design a job, you're making sure you're designing it in the most efficient, effective manner, and you're getting all the relevant stuff you need to. Recruitment and selection, obtaining employees who are enthusiastic about and able to contribute to a team, empowerment, and knowledge sharing. So I'm gonna make this easy for you. Recruit the right people. If you recruit the right type of people for the job that you have, for the team that you have, and for the mission that you have, your chances of them coming in to be successful are higher. Chances of them fitting in are going to be higher. Chances of your team to being successful are going to be higher. Performance management. Benefit and measure performance in precise terms. Link performance measures to meeting customer needs. Measure and correct for the effect of situational constraints. Again, when it comes to that performance management, it has to be something that's measurable. It has to be something that you can look at and say, I am getting this result from this individual, from this team. And it has to be something that you can link to some type of way to the customer service or something if possible. And also too, it has to take in consideration when you have some type of situational constraints. And I give you an example. If you have a system in place, but you have a computer or some information on something that you need, and you can't get it for every quarter for 2 weeks. Well, are you taking in consideration that that's 2 weeks that you can't hold them accountable during those 2 weeks because it's something that they need to do the job is actually down or being repaired or being updated? HRM practices that can help organizations achieve high performance. So when we look through this, you have this HR practice, you see my organizational goals. Performance management system measures customers' satisfaction and quality. Individuals and groups share knowledge. Organizational models, employee satisfaction. So I won't read through all of these. You can read through this at your own pace because it's self-explanatory. Employee performance as a process. Now, this is something when you look at, this is why you want to make sure you bring in the right people. Bringing in the right people because it ties in not just the job, it ties into performance as a process, but it ties into the overall goal of the organization and overall profits or whatever it is you do. So you see organizational goals. So you see objective results. You see individual skills and abilities. Down at the bottom, you see situational, organizational, culture, economy, how they tie in that. And you see organizational goals and situational, organizational, culture, and economy. Both of those tie into individual behaviors. It's all related. When you think, well, it's just a little something, I don't have to hold this person's feet to the fire or whatever else, look what all you affect when you have an ineffective employee working for you or you have an ineffective team working for you. New technologies requires automation and collaboration. So when we look at transaction processing, computations, calculations used to review current HRM decisions and practices. So the technology's got to the point now where you can actually kind of check the processes and look at this stuff to review what decisions are being made, how things are being done, and what the outcomes are. Decision support systems designed to help managers solve problems. What if feature. So it's, again, the intelligent and these high systems, these high power teams, they look at this stuff and they're like, how can we be better at making our decisions? Use the decision-making process of all your people in your group, if you can, and peers, but also use the stuff that's also available through technology to help you. Expert systems incorporate decision rules for people deemed to have expertise in certain area. So this will be systems that will be in place for, like you have like your accountants, or your instructional design people, or your engineers. Expert systems can help with complicated business decisions such as scheduling the optimal number of employees for slow and busy work periods. So these expert systems can take some of the guesswork out of it. It's like how could you make some mistakes when you have a system that will actually help you not make those mistakes? One of the reasons is you're not using it. Human resource information systems. So relational databases, they store data in separate files linked by common elements, can track employee benefits, costs, training courses, and compensation. So this is where this is usually in HR that no one else has access to. And this is where they can go through and pretty much just find out about anything about you by stroking a few keys. And once upon a time, this was all done by hand and by paper files, cabinets and stuff. This is how the technology has made things easier. HR dashboard displays HR-related indicators showing goals and objectives, show progress towards meeting those goals and objectives. Predictive analysis, analytics. So when you got these goals and these objectives, you can see, are we making progress on it? Are we progressing? It allows you to see if you're progressing in the right manner for those. And it can also tell you the probability of you reaching those goals and stuff too. Technology is amazing at times like this. Human Resource Management Online, EHRM. So it improves human resource management effectiveness, helps management privacy on the intranet, includes social media applications. Employees can get information when they need it instead of contacting the HR. So this is something that you find a lot of times with a lot of organizations now. It's called like self-help. You will find. Go to the HR section and go to the self-help, where you can do some things without needing to talk to a person because it's available for you. Cloud computing enables access to information delivered on demand from any device 24/7, used especially during the COVID-19. So the cloud is when you put stuff in the cloud. This is how people can have access to stuff 24/7 and take care of a lot of their needs because they're not having to personally store stuff. It's being stored in the cloud. Because if you rely on people just to personally store stuff, what can happen? They can misplace it, lose it, or whatever else. When it's stored in the cloud, they can always know where to find it. Social media. Many companies use social media applications as part of their EHRM strategies to communicate, coach, and train employees. So, you look at identifying key HRM functions and key measures of business performance and customer satisfaction. Things such as staffing, compensation, benefits, training, appraisal, development, overall effectiveness, and compliance with equal opportunity laws and succession, and maintaining a safe workplace, positive work labor stuff. You can do all this stuff through social media. So HRM audit, formal review of outcomes of HRM functions based on identifying key HRM functions and key measures of business performance and customer satisfaction. Staffing, compensations, benefits, training, appraisal, all that. Compliance, you see that. So when we look at the customer-oriented perspective for HRM, who are our customers? Your customers are the employees. When human resources management, your customers are the line managers, strategic planners, employees. You're not talking about external customers. You're talking about internal. What do our customers need? Committed employees, competent employees. So if you look at line managers, they need committed employees, qualified staffing, strategic planners, competent employees, performance management. Employees, what they need, rewards, training, and development. And all these are going to be the responsibility of HR. So analyzing the effect of HRM programs. So you have the HR analytics, measures programs of success in terms of or whether it's achieved objectives or delivered value in an economic sense. It's at the end of the day, it's going to run the numbers. Was this successful? Did we do what we wanted to do? Was it successful? Economic approach measures dollar value of programs, costs, and benefits. Is this program worth it? That's what it's going to let you know. Is this program worth it? You look at it and wait a minute, this is costing us too much, or this has been a lifesaver. We've saved a lot of money by using this, Organizational network analysis measures who is communicating with whom and how often. So you want to figure out, like, do you have a breakdown in communication? Why is it we're working in silos? Why is it these two departments or these three departments don't seem to be working well together? Well, you look at this and you find out it's because they're not communicating. They're doing things where they need to be communicating with each other, but they're operating in silos. And where would that issue be? That's not with your employees, it's not with your team, that's with your managers. That concludes this chapter.